Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So I'm going to take a look at two phones here that I really love, which is the Asus Zenfone 5 and the Mi A2 by Xiaomi. Now I give this phone high praise, but I also give this phone high praise. So this will be a tough one for me to tell you which one I like better. But overall, I'm going to be honest, as I always do, and give you my opinions on these two phones right here. So if you have one or the other or both, you tell me what your comments are down below. So let's start with the obvious, which is price. So there are two versions of this phone right here, the Asus Zenfone 5. This is the 5 that I have, and there's also the 5Z, which boasts a Snapdragon 845 inside. And it's going to run you about $499. You shouldn't pay no more than $500 for that version. But this version right here, you shouldn't pay any more than about $380 or so for this one. Now, I got it when it first released, so $450 was what I had to kick out. And that was on sale, because this phone used to be $499, but then it quickly dropped down. I'm pretty sure it's selling very well, but you can get this phone in the US, the 5Z version. You can get it online, you can get them everywhere. I'll put a link down below to both of these devices so you can purchase if you want to support my channel with the links down below. However, do your own research and find this phone for no more than $400. Now this phone over here, it's no more than $400 for the top of the line model, which is 128 gig with 6 gigs of RAM in that one. So still has the Snapdragon 660 inside. However, it's still a good phone, and I really like it. But both of these in price-wise, you know, don't pay more than $400 for this one, and don't pay more than $400 for this one. These particular models. So price, that's what you get. Next is the screen. Now the screen on both of these is beautiful. This is actually a 6.2 inch display, and this is a 6 inch display. Now this employs that new 19:9 body ratio or something like that, and this has the 18:9 ratio. I don't know. They're both the newer versions of what today's market is going towards. But this one has that full screen display with that area on the top cut out for cameras, sensors, and speakers and things like that. With a small chin at the bottom, and this one has kind of a balanced playing field for the way it looks on the front. But overall design on both of these, I like this design much better for the screen than this design. Something about the form factor of this phone, where the screen looks, I just really enjoy it for some reason. I don't know why, but I really like it. This isn't bad, you know, I like this, but I'm getting a bigger screen in a smaller body. So that plays a huge part for me, and I think that's a huge plus for me. Now, while I do like the design of this phone and the screen and everything, again, the preference is over here. Next is the hardware. Now, the hardware on both of these, I like them both. However, this aluminum design, to me, is going to always feel a little bit more premium when you talk about how something feels. Now, I have a protector on the front and the rear of this, and just a protector on the front of this. So, you know, when it comes to feel in hand, this one may feel better, but this one is definitely probably going to be a little bit more sturdy because it has an all aluminum body on the back, and this one has a glass back. So if you drop this without any protection, you're definitely going to get a crack on the back or the front, depending on where it lands or anything like that. But this, on the other hand, probably would survive a drop a lot better because it has this aluminum back steel and that design. So I really like both. I like the design of this one. However, when it comes to just durability, this is probably going to take more drops. And this one probably, just because of the back. Now, if this had an aluminum back on it, this would win to me hands down. Because I like the design of this phone. It feels premium holding it compared to this phone, but I know that the aluminum body on here is definitely going to be a little bit stronger. So hardware-wise, I like this design better. I like the way it looks a lot better. But I know that glass back won't do, it won't last very long if I drop it. So kind of a toss-up, I guess. Now let's move forward to battery. Now this is a tough one because I get great battery life on both of these phones. But I think that the Xiaomi might edge it out just by a hair. I can go through a day on both of these phones right here with no problems whatsoever. I mean, I have no problems going through a day on either one of these. It just kind of comes down to one hanging in there just a hair longer and getting more screen on time, and that's probably going to be more towards this Xiaomi Mi A2. While Asus, the Asus Zenfone 5 is great on battery, the Mi A2 pulls it out by just a little bit in my usage. Your usage will be different, so be sure to measure it that way. You can't measure battery life on anyone telling you something's good. You have to use it yourself and get the same apps that you have on all your devices or however you have it set up, and then you'll be able to determine which one you like better. Now, as far as performance goes, this has the Snapdragon 636 inside based on the 660, and this has the 660 inside. So I found that while the Asus Zenfone 5 is snappy, it's not as snappy as this device over here. It's just something about the Snapdragon 660. It's very snappy compared to the 636. And I really enjoy both of them, but real world testing, the Mi 8 2 definitely is a little bit snappier. I can feel some sluggishness with this phone at times, but this phone, nothing at all. Now, when it comes to software, this is a toss-up here because this is pretty much some people have asked me about the launcher on here, and I'm not running a launcher. This is Asus's launcher on this phone, and it looks like stock Android. However, it is not stock Android. It's very close though. This, on the other hand, is stock Android, and it is buttery smooth. And the Asus phone, it is smooth. However, coupled with that processor and the stock Android, this is a little bit smoother. And that's to be expected with stock Android running on a device like this. It's got the faster processor. They both have 4 gigs of RAM. However, this has that 8.1 and stock with the 660, and it's going to be just a hair snappier. Now, as for cameras, I personally feel like the Asus Zenfone 5 has a lot better camera. I've taken this phone on a trip, and I really enjoy. I've actually taken it on multiple trips, and I really enjoy the cameras on this device right here. I think they just produce such fantastic photos. It's just a wonder that, you know, this phone is not in the hands of more people. But the reason being is because it's not a phone that wasn't sold in the US. They're not selling this model in the US, but they're selling the 845. So with that, I can recommend this. But let's get to that later. But cameras, I definitely give the win to the Asus Zenfone 5. While the Mi 8 2 has great cameras, I don't think they measure up to the Asus Zenfone 5 in my testing. So overall, this is a tough one because I like some things about both of these phones. But if I had to pick just one of these phones for 2 years, it would probably be this phone right here. It would probably be the Asus Zenfone 5 because the screen, the way that the phone is set up, you know, I really like it. I really think it's nice, and it feels premium. And I know that with it having this glass back, I mean, I do have a protector on it, but nonetheless, you know, I'm more careful with it. Another thing is it has a headphone jack. Both of these phones have Type-C, but this has stereo speakers too. It's just a more rounded device. Literally, it's more rounded. But you know, the Mi 8 2 has the IR blaster, but that's not enough to sell me on, okay, hey, I need to get this over this. The Asus Zenfone 5 is a very premium phone, and for those that don't have it, I encourage you to pick up the Asus Zenfone 5. Both of these phones, you can get them for under $600 together if you do your research. And I think you'd like them both, and you'd be in a position like me where it's very difficult to choose one of these as a daily driver. Currently, I'm using this one as a daily driver. I'm getting ready to write a review on the Moto E5 Plus, and I switched my SIM card to this one so I don't have any kind of notifications or anything like that while I'm writing the review on it. But the Mi 8 2 coming later for a review, but this is a beautiful setup right here. And again, this was a really tough one because I like both of these phones. However, if I had to keep it for 2 years, I would go with the Asus Zenfone 5. It's your man Jay Will. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.